back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a dupes video. Not just a dupes video, but a dupes video for probably some of the most popular products on the market. I'm very excited for what I have here today, and I can't wait to show you them in action. I'll actually be doing a side by side, so half of my face is dupes and half is not. Maybe you can figure out which is which, maybe you can. I will say that the foundation is all the same foundation because I did not have a foundation dupe for this video, but I am currently working on a foundation dupe because I think I found one, but I'm still testing it. And I just recently discovered it, and I want to keep trying it for another couple of months, maybe a few months, and then that'll probably be in my next dupes video. Wow, I went on like a rampage. Would it be a Montana video if I didn't go off on a tangent? Probably not. I do have a lot of awesome dupes here today that I'm so excited to share with you and so excited to demonstrate for you so you can see why I believe these are dupes, how they are dupes, price comparisons, and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the application portion. All right, so our first dupe today is one for the very popular and beloved Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Extensions mascara. So everybody really likes this mascara from what I've seen and heard. I haven't heard a lot of people say that they don't like it. And recently I found this dupe from Hard Candy. It's called the Dare to Extend Ultimate Lash Extension Mascara, and it's pretty much identical, and I'm gonna show you that today. Obviously, these do not look alike, but they do perform very similarly. And they have wands that are somewhat similar, not exact. This one's more of like a triangular shape. This, of course, is the Thrive Cosmetics mascara, and then the Hard Candy one is a little bit different. I actually kind of prefer the Hard Candy one, but the mascara themselves are very similar regardless of the wand, which is very interesting. A lot of times I find that mascaras that perform similarly have the same type of wand, but not in this case. So I'm gonna put the Thrive over here and the Hard Candy over here and just show you an example. Of course, if you don't know, this is a tubing mascara, and it literally all you need to take it off is warm water. And this one does not specifically claim to be a tubing mascara, but it says that it hugs the lashes, so that kind of makes me think of tubing. And I've noticed that all I need to remove this is warm water as well. So I think it is a tubing mascara without saying it. Also, this comes in like 6 colors, so that's really cool if you wanted to like put some cool colors on it. It even comes in colors like silver, so that's really cool. This one only comes in black and rich black. I have it in rich black. I think it might also come in brown too. But anyway, I'm going to put the Thrive one on my right side, your left side, and the Hard Candy one on this side. So let's start off with the Thrive one. I do still do a couple of coats with each of these. I'm gonna have to pull this mirror closer. So we have one coat there. So while I'm waiting for that coat to dry to put on another coat, I'm gonna go ahead and put my first coat on of the Dare to Extend Ultimate Lash Extension Mascara by Hard Candy. These are both kind of wet formulas, not like super dried out when you first get them, just so you know. There is the first coat of the Thrive. So if you look at them side to side, you can see that they're pretty identical. They're pretty similar. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back into the Thrive to show you the difference between just one coat and 2 coats for me. I do find that I only need just 2 coats with these mascaras, both of them. Sometimes I do need 3 coats, or sometimes I want 3 coats with like some other mascaras, but these, if I go into 3 coats, I feel like they just like start clumping together. So just keep that in mind with both of these mascaras, whether you want to buy the dupe or the original, just so you know, that is what happens with me. And this is where the magic happens for me. And that is a second coat with the Thrive. So let's do our final coat with this one and we can compare. All right, so this is after 2 coats of this mascara, the Hard Candy one on this side. I'm holding the mascaras up to, of course, which sides I put the mascara on. They are very similar, if not identical. I like both of these mascaras. Neither one of them are really holy grails for me. I know a lot of people really love this, but I'm just not like the hugest fan of tubing mascaras. But this is definitely a dupe for this, and this is much less expensive. I'll be including prices on the screen so you can see the comparison, but I was very impressed when I found this for this, because I know lots of people are looking for dupes because this is expensive, and this one is like a fifth of the price. So definitely check it out if you love this mascara. We are gonna come back to eyes because we do have some more dupes on the eyes, but before we get there, I wanted to show you a face dupe that is a primer, so I need to let it sit before I go in with my foundation and stuff like that. So the primer I'm duping today is the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas Primer. This is a very, very beloved primer. This has been around for a while and lots of people like it. One thing I will say is, nobody said this that I ever watched, but this smells like straight up essential oils, and this primer breaks me out. So that sucks. I am going to use this primer today to demonstrate, but I actually way prefer the dupe because it doesn't break me out, and also, of course, it's a lot less expensive. This one, I'm sad breaks me out because I really, really wanted to be able to use it, and I do like it, and I've tried it several times to compare it to the dupe, but every time I have tried it, it has just like not agreed with my skin, and I've gotten pimples of different sizes and severities, and it's just not been that great. We are gonna put the Tatcha one on this side, and then the dupe is the Hard Candy. Once again, we've got another Hard Candy dupe here. It's the Hard Candy Soothing Primer Balm. This has actually quickly become one of my favorite primers in my entire collection. I bought it to try out for this video about 4 months ago, but have really been loving it. But I am today going to be putting both on my skin, so I am just gonna take a little bit and put this right here, smooth that in. And these are very similar colors. I'll show you that in a second. They're almost completely identical to me, and I just love this. Also, this one doesn't have any like obvious fragrance. Just gonna do half my face with that Tatcha one. My nose. Doing half a nose on anything is like the weirdest. I'm gonna put the Tatcha one over there and use the Hard Candy one on this side. This is the Hard Candy one's color, and oh gosh. Let me switch sides. This is the Tatcha color, and this is the Hard Candy color. As you can see, they're very, very similar. I've obviously used this a lot more. When I was trying this one to compare to this one, I ended up falling in love with this one more, and plus it didn't break me out, so I actually ended up using it by itself a lot as well. So it's actually become quite a favorite. But they're absolutely identical in my opinion. I can't believe it. I will probably be decluttering the Tatcha one soon and giving it to maybe somebody who doesn't have as sensitive skin as I do, because I think this packaging is gorgeous. I actually bought the mini size, and I'm actually kind of glad I did, because if I bought the full size and realized it had broken me out, I would have been so bummed. But I'm going to take the Hard Candy one on this side. As you can see, it's a very similar texture to the Tatcha one and color when you're blending it in. I'm gonna have to do a mask now after using that Tatcha primer. Hopefully it won't break out again, or hopefully the breakouts won't be that bad. So I think that my skin just looks a little bit smoother now. I don't really know if it's coming across on camera, but in person I do feel like it's a little bit smoother. And this is a very easy to work with primer. The e.l.f. Putty Primer, which actually was replaced by this in my favorites. I still love that one, but it's a little bit more stiff. This one is a little bit easier to like get onto your hands and put on your face and like rub in, just in case you are wondering how it compares to like similar things at the drugstore. Our next dupe is a very exciting one. These are, of course, the very, very beloved MAC paint pots. I have it in Painterly and Soft Ochre, and I have found dupes for both of these. I obviously cannot use both these and the dupes on my eyes today, so I'm just gonna pick one color and go from there, but I am gonna swatch them for you. So here is Painterly. Let me get a nice swatch so you can see the color. So there's Painterly and its dupe. They both have dupes from ColourPop, and these are the ColourPop Cream Shadows, and the dupe for Painterly is in Laurel. Very similar. You can see this one's maybe a little bit different, but on the eyes and in swatches, they are very, very similar. See, like very, very similar. I'm probably gonna use the Painterly and Laurel dupe today because it matches like my eyes a little bit better. So this is Soft Ochre. It's more of a yellowy tone. And I'm gonna swatch it actually on my right hand. So there's Soft Ochre, and its dupe from the ColourPop Cream Shadow line is Bronco. Here are them side by side. See, very similar. This is the ColourPop one, this is the MAC one. Extremely similar. This is Soft Ochre, and this is ColourPop Bronco. As you can see from both of these swatches, they are very similar. The formulation of these cream shadows, like the ColourPop ones compared to the MAC ones, is like almost identical. I'm gonna put the amount differences between the MAC and ColourPop paint pots. I can't find it on the packaging right now. This is one of the things I was most excited to find because I'm always on the hunt for dupes for stuff like MAC paint pot, and I used to love one by Revolution, but they got rid of it for some reason. I am going to be using Painterly and Laurel today, and Painterly, of course, is the MAC one, and Laurel is its dupe. So I'm going to use MAC, of course, on my right side. Put that on. I'm a big fan of like cream eyeshadows that cancel out veining because I do have quite a bit of discoloration and veining on my eyelids, and I'm just very insecure about it, and I just like to be able to just cancel that right out. Now I'm gonna go in to Laurel on the left side. It's the same texture. Smooths across the lid the exact same way, no tugging on either side. Gosh, see how similar they are though? Like, it's pretty much identical. So I was really excited about this dupe. I know a lot of people like the MAC paint pots, but I just really like being able to find something similar that's more of a drugstore price, and you can get these on Ulta's website, or you can of course order them from ColourPop's website. Let's move on to the next dupe, which is also very exciting. One of my favorites from last year, like 2020 favorites, was the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. I bought it, I was so excited because it is a very neutral palette. There's not like, this is like a perfect kind of palette for me, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. It is $65, and it's one of her less expensive palette options and compared to like the $125 ones or whatever that she sells. But I really like this palette scheme, like the color scheme. I'm a big fan of this color that's called Crease. Very interesting color names. But since playing with it, I have noticed a few like inconsistency. Some of the colors aren't quite as easy to blend, and that kind of bums me out because I think this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. But recently, Alter Ego released a palette that dupes it. I'm going to hold up both in a second so you can compare. But this is called the Shadow Kiss palette. Looks familiar, doesn't it? We've got that same kind of crease shade over here. It's called Desire. And I just think this is a gorgeous palette. I really like Alter Ego's shadows. I've actually tried them before and own a couple of other palettes. Let me show you the Natasha Denona and Alter Ego palette side by side so you can really see. Of course, the shadows are in a different order because they didn't want to make it look entirely like a dupe, but it's still an absolute dupe. And I will include swatches here so you can see. So here are the first top two rows of the Natasha Denona palette and the dupes from the Alter Ego palette. These are, of course, not in the order of the Alter Ego palette. I put them in the order of the Natasha Denona palette from left to right and then from top to bottom. So you're kind of, it's almost like you're reading a book, if that makes sense. So on the top row, we have the Natasha Denona palette, and then the bottom row, we have the Shadow Kiss palette by Alter Ego. I'm going to tell you each of the shadows and their counterparts, so I'm going to alternate between this is the Natasha Denona shade and this is the dupe for that shade. So first we have Center Lid, and then the dupe for that from the Alter Ego palette is Tempt. Then we have Outer Eyelid from the Natasha Denona palette, and then the Alter Ego is Shroud, and then we have the Inner Corner shade from Natasha Denona, and then Cloak from the Alter Ego palette, and then we have Crease from the Natasha Denona palette, and then we have Desire from the Alter Ego palette, and then we have Transition from the Natasha Denona palette, and then we have Risk from the Alter Ego palette, and then we have Smoke from the Natasha Denona palette, and then we have Shade from the Alter Ego palette. Then we have Blend from Natasha Denona, which the dupe for that is Vanish from the Alter Ego palette, and then Lash Line And Umbra is the shade from the Alter Ego palette. That is the dupe for that. And then Inner Corner from Natasha Denona. And then Disguise is the dupe from the Alter Ego palette. And then we have the Center Eyelid shade. And the dupe for that is the Eclipse shade. So now we have the last row of the Natasha Denona palette on the top here. And then underneath that, we have the Alter Ego dupes. So I'm going to list them off here. Of course, we're going to alternate like we did on the first two rows. So first we have the Natasha Denona shade Center Eyelid, and the dupe for that is Zeal. Then we have Outer Eyelid, and the dupe for that is Veil. And then we have Center Eyelid, and the dupe for that is Mist. And then we have Outer Eyelid, and the dupe for that is Fog. And then lastly we have Brow Bone, and the dupe for that is Dare. These palettes are complete dupes. $65, like $17. So definitely, if you want to try this, maybe try this one first because it's less expensive. And honestly, I like the shadow formula in this one better. It's easier to blend, and this one kind of gets patchy. So just being honest, this one was a favorite last year and I stood by it. But since then, I have tried even more of the colors and they have just kind of been a little underwhelming for the price, especially when Alter Ego released a very, very similar dupe to it, and it's like identical. I did mention it in a previous video, I think it was like over the summer or something like that, that I did think that the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette was also a little bit of a dupe for this one. But that one does have more shades in it, and it's not really a dupe, it's just like an alternative. But this one is like a full-on like dupe. But the ColourPop one you can also get, and it's like, they're like $32 or something like that. And it's a mega palette, and it's cool toned and beautiful, but it has all of these kind of shades in it. So if you want something even more bang for your buck and even more shades, you can go for that one as well. But if you want an exact dupe, I've got this for you right here. So we're gonna hop into this. I'm very excited. I'm gonna start off with this eye, and we're just gonna kind of alternate back and forth, I think. And I'm gonna first go into this blend shade right here, and just put this kind of in the crease just to get like a starter shade. And if you have this palette, it's a beautiful palette. But honestly, I think the Alter Ego one just performs better. And this isn't me saying, oh, I like drugstore stuff and inexpensive stuff more because it's inexpensive. I'm talking about the quality here. The quality is pretty. And yes, I mean, look at that shade. But I do find that sometimes I have a little bit of a problem blending. You might be able to see the blending issue as I get deeper into this eye look. So now we're gonna go into the dupe shade in here for the color blend that I used, and that would be Vanish right here. I'm gonna go in with a similar brush, and I'm gonna just do the same thing on this eye. See how similar blend is in the Natasha Denona palette, and Vanish is on this left eye. We're gonna pop back to the Natasha Denona one and go into this crease shade. It's a very cool toned brown. And we're gonna go into this brush. It's a Real Techniques one. And just grab a little bit and kind of put it specifically in the crease. This is actually called crease. And with blend, I put it kind of all over the place and drug it a little bit into the inner, but I'm gonna keep this on the outside. So we're gonna pop into the comparable shade over here, which is called Desire. It's over here in the corner, and I'm gonna get like the same brush, except it's the same brush, I just have two different packs. And I'm gonna do the same thing and just keep it specifically in the crease. So this is what I'm talking about. When you get a little bit in the deeper shades in this Natasha Denona palette, even just slightly deeper, it gets patchy. So I'm gonna try to blend it out a little bit so it's not so harsh, but I have problems and sometimes I can't get it to blend or it blends away. It's just very bizarre, or it just gets really patchy. So that's one of the main problems I've been having. And on this side, it's very smooth, there's no patchiness, and so it's definitely harder to work with the Natasha Denona shades. And I think for the price, you know, it should be like super buttery, super easy. The eyeshadows should practically apply and blend themselves. So that's the best I can really get on the blending. It feels like this one's a little bit lower now. It's just a patchy problem. I really don't understand what's going on there, but the Alter Ego one doesn't do that. So I thought that was interesting. We're gonna pop back to this And we're gonna go into the shade Inner Corner right here and put that all over the lid. Oh, another thing is, these pans sometimes shake and pop out just for fun, I guess. I've heard that this happens to some people, and it has happened, especially with this inner corner. It gets shaky and sometimes it'll just pop out. You can put it back in, but it is kind of annoying, especially for the price. But this is a super sparkly shade. It is gorgeous. Now, the shimmers in here, I'm very impressed with. The mattes are more of the issue. I mean, that is stunning. We're going to go into Alter Ego and get the dupe shade for that, which is Cloak right here, and put that all over the lid. They're identical, right? We're gonna do a little bit more, just a little bit more. We've done pretty much all on the lids, but I do wanna put a little bit on the lash line. So I'm gonna go back into the Natasha Denona shade palette, and I'm gonna go into Smoke right here. It's a little bit of a darker, cool brown, which I like, and I'm gonna go into this Real Techniques brush and kind of just put it a little bit on the lash line. Not much where you can super tell, but between the two eyes, you can tell that I brought a little bit of smoke to about the middle of my lid. So, or to the middle of my eyelash line. So I'm gonna go into the Dupe for Smoke and get the same brush that's clean, the same brush from a different pack, but the same pack. Does that make any sense? And I'm gonna go into the dupe for that, which is Shade. I'm just gonna do the same thing, add a little bit of definition to that line, to about the middle. So we have finished the eyes. Look how similar they look. You can still see a little bit of that patchiness from Natasha Denona over here. If my eyes are open, you can't see it as much, but I did not have a problem with that with the Alter Ego Shadow Kiss palette, so just in case you're wondering, but these are just absolute dupes. Also, I really like the packaging on this one. The packaging on this one is, of course, hard plastic, and this one is hard like cardboard, but I do think this is very visually appealing. It looks very like New Year's Eve-y. This one is gorgeous too, though, but if I declutter, which I plan to do very soon, I imagine this one's gonna say goodbye and this one's gonna stay. We will see, but I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. So while I don't have a new foundation dupe, unfortunately, I'm just gonna use my foundation, but I do have an application dupe. I'm very excited. So if you haven't heard, Tati Beauty is closed. They're no longer selling anything. No eyeshadow palettes, no blendifuls. So if you know me at all, you know that my favorite application tool is the Blendiful. And this was my last one, and I didn't get any more before she closed her doors, which sucks. I truly love this so much. I think it's just a great application tool. I love it so much that I actually used it for my wedding, but she closed her doors so you can no longer get this. I think this was an excellent invention, and I'm sad to see Tati Beauty go. I'm hoping that she'll relaunch these products under a new name or something, or maybe under her current Halo Beauty supplement brand. Maybe she can have a little, like, different little avenues for that brand and have like makeup and like skincare and beauty or whatever. But she has officially closed her doors. I believe she announced it sometime last week or the week before, something like that. Don't worry though, I have found a dupe. Not only one dupe, I have found two dupes. The first dupe is one that looks almost identical. So I'm gonna hold Tati Beauty on this side and the dupe on this side. This is Tati Beauty. Obviously there's a color difference, but the shape is pretty much the same and the texture is also the same. The other dupe is one that is shaped like a heart, but they both have like these strap things and same texture, and this one comes with 3 other ones. A pink one, a black one, and a white one. I have not used the white one because I'm like scared to death that it's gonna get so dirty. But I have used the pink one and the black one, and of course this one, and love them. I was very excited because I'm so sad to see this go. I love this thing, and I will be preserving it as long as I can until it will no longer work. So I'm going to apply half my face with this, and then the other half, I'm going to be using this one because this one is a part of Prime. I know it's not shaped exactly like it, but this one takes a little bit longer to get to you. It's not Prime or anything. This one's a little bit cheaper. They're the same, and this one you get quicker, plus you get 4 of them. They also have a duo pack under the same company where they have this and a teeny tiny one for the Tati Beauty one. I have tried that, however I lost that, so I'm sorry. I don't have that to show you. but these are the same like kind of texture. They have the same outer part and the same like inner fluff thing. But I'm gonna be using my favorite foundation, which is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, on both sides and show you how these are so similar. So we are gonna start on the right side with Tati Beauty Blendiful and just blend this foundation right onto my skin. So pretty, oh my gosh. Like, see how beautifully this puff blends your makeup in? It's so pretty. I am gonna miss this. I am happy to have a dupe though, I will say, because I was like, I finally found like my favorite way to apply makeup, and it's going out of, like, the whole company is going out of business. I also really like the eyeshadow palette. I'm sad to see that go. I was excited to see what other palette she's gonna release though, because that one was not my perfect neutral palette. It was a little bit warm and had that pop of purple, but she mentioned in a video that she made it based on her likes, which makes sense because it's her palette and her company, so it would make sense that you do that. So pretty. Gosh, isn't that just the prettiest? Like, this puff works so well with so many foundations, and so does the dupe. Actually, all the dupes. This dupe. I think I'm only gonna wear one layer today because I think that just covered it so nicely. Gosh, and it just provides maximum coverage and it doesn't look cakey. I'm just so impressed by the engineering of this product, I guess. So now we're gonna go in to the dupe, which is the heart-shaped one, and just go over here. And we're gonna do the same. I have like an annoying pimple. It's like, I popped, don't shame me, but it was really annoying me. And instead of just like going away, it like hardened. That sounds disgusting, but I feel like you know what I mean. Anyway, back to the video. Like, the texture of my foundation from using both of these is the same. Like, Blendiful. Not Blendiful. They're the same. Just blending them a little bit more. Make sure they're all even and all my foundation is actually blended into my skin. I'm glad that I found a dupe for this because I had a bad feeling that Tati Beauty was gonna go out of business. So about 5 months ago, I started like searching for a dupe and came across these on Amazon and have been loving them. So that's good. I'm glad I prepared because I don't know what I would have done if it, like, the bomb had just dropped on me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna use now? How am I gonna repurchase this thing that I love so much that's not even available? As you can see, look how similar both sides look. I'm gonna go a little bit closer in so you can see the texture. Such a similar texture and look to the skin with both of these tools. I was so excited to find this, especially for myself. I mean, honestly, this was a very personal thing for me to find because I love the Tati Beauty Blendiful so much. But if you haven't tried this method of applying your foundation, definitely try out the dupe. I'll be linking the dupes below so you guys can access them, as well as the original products, just in case you want to access those as well. So for the concealer, this probably comes as no shock, but I have the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. The dupe is actually the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This one actually came out way before this one. So I think that's very interesting. I think Tarte actually tried to compete with e.l.f. here, but for the sake of this video, this one is going to be the dupe for this one. These are identical. I mean, the applicator, the look, the application, they're identical. This is the Tarte one, and this is the e.l.f. one. They're the same. So I'm going to put the Tarte one on this side. By the way, the Tarte one I have in 16N, Fair Light Neutral. I'm just going to do a little bit of a dab, because honestly, this is an extremely high coverage concealer. I'm not actually the biggest fan of super high coverage concealers. I actually prefer more medium because I find them to be a little bit easier to blend. But a lot of people really, really like these kind of concealers, so I wanted to include them. And then I'm gonna put this one, and this is in the shade Fair Warm, under this eye. You can see those shades are pretty similar as well. I'm just gonna put a dot of each. And I'm actually gonna use 2 different e.l.f. concealer sponges for this, so you can see I have 2 clean ones, just like my eye brushes I was using. And I'm just gonna blend them right away. This is, of course, the Tarte one on this side. And I really like to focus it on the inner corner because I have a lot of darkness right here, and I think people tend to like forget about that and neglect it. But I like to make sure I actually concentrate my concealer there because that is where my biggest problem is right up there and like down here a little bit. I don't have a ton of darkness on the outside, a little bit, but not as much as I do on the inner corners. So that is the Tarte side. Very brightening. I look like I got more sleep last night than I did. So let's go to the e.l.f. side and compare while I blend out. I actually prefer the e.l.f. one to the Tarte one. I think that it actually has a little bit more coverage, maybe not obvious more coverage, but to me it appears that this covers more than the Tarte one does. I find that with these kind of products as well, a lot of people like to go overboard, but I think less is more in this case. Even if you have some significant dark circles, actually going in with less, and then maybe if you want to build it up, is a little bit easier than just going in with so much that you have like to blend forever and it starts drying and stuff. But look how similar my under eyes look. I feel like I look more rested and both eyes look like the same. See? I was so impressed that e.l.f. came out with this idea first. I wasn't the biggest fan of the like original e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I found it to be too drying, but the hydrating versions of both of these are great. I've also tried the Tarte regular Shape Tape and found it to be too drying, which by the way, the e.l.f. Camo Concealer and the Tarte Shape Tape, the originals, are dupes for each other as well if you want a more matte look, but these are a little bit more hydrating and I find that they're a little bit easier to work with, and they're identical to each other. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup because I don't have any more makeup dupes, but I do have a dry shampoo dupe. So I'm gonna finish up that and then I'm gonna come back and discuss with you the dry shampoo dupe I have. So I finished the rest of my makeup and my lips turned out darker than I thought. I got this new lip liner from LA Girl called the Shockwave lip liner, and it's in the shade Nude, and it looks a little bit darker on my lips than I was picturing. But we're just gonna go with it today. I'm probably not gonna last very long in this, although I will say that it's only like $2.99 and it's very saturated and very nice. So if you were just wondering, I wanted to discuss what my last dupe is for this video, and it is a dupe for the Amika Perk Up Dry Shampoo. I'm not going to apply any today because I always apply my dry shampoo before bed so that way it can soak up and then the next day it'll be like new. But I am going to include a clip of me applying both of these dry shampoos last night so you can see them in action. But I do really like this dry shampoo. Actually, my favorite dry shampoo is from Dove, but this one is really nice too. The only downside of it is its price. It's like $25, and although I really like it, I don't think it's as great as my Dove dry shampoo. But another one of my favorites from the drugstore on the less expensive side is by Ava NYC, and this is the Freshen Up Dry Shampoo. So the Perk Up and the Freshen Up Dry Shampoo are identical in formulation. They even used to be identical in smell until Ava NYC changed the fragrance in this last year or early this year. So yeah, but they used to smell identical. I love the smell of Amika products, but I really do love the new smell of this as well. And they didn't change the formula, so the formulas are still exactly the same. This one is $11.99, this one is $25. You can see them in action in my clip, and you will notice that they do the exact same thing. My hair is on like day 5, and it actually looks pretty good, and I'm very, very happy with how both of these dry shampoos perform, and I definitely will be repurchasing this one. This is already a repurchase. I actually already loved this before I tried this, and then when I was trying this for the first time, I was like, this is a lot like this one. So yeah, I don't know if I'll repurchase this one unless it's like on a whim, but I know for a fact that I will definitely repurchase this one because it's exactly the same thing. I even like this one just a smidge better because I feel like it soaks up the oil just a little bit more than this one does, and it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, but that is the end of my dupes video. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell down below, and please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I am continuously and constantly working on dupes videos, so make sure your notification bell is on so you can see videos like more dupes videos or lifestyle videos, and if you're into that, hair videos, etc. I cover a lot of different bases on this channel. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!